Hey fish friends, Zenzo with Tazawa Tanks, back with another video. So before I jump into the topic for today, I just want to send out a thank you to a couple people. I want to send out a big thank you to Jimmy from Aquarium Co-op, as well as Corey from Aquarium Co-op. So I'm sure you know if you're watching this channel and you've seen my videos, and I'm sure you probably watched their videos. They were down here last week, and Corey was doing a talk, and Jimmy and Corey were doing some filming, and they happened to come by and take some video of my tanks, and it was a great experience. It was good to hang out with them, and I actually got a lot of extra subscribers from it, so a big thank you to both Jimmy and to Corey. And then I also want to send out a shout out to Jimmy H. So Jimmy H is another YouTuber, lives here in the San Francisco Bay Area. I think he lives down in the San Jose area actually, and he and I had a kind of a friendly little bet for viewership, and so the loser had to buy lunch. So looking forward to hanging out with Jimmy H. He's got some great tanks. He has a beautiful koi pond that I'm excited to go see when I go down and visit him. So if you haven't seen Jimmy's channel, go ahead and I'll put the link down below in the description so you can check out his channel. If you haven't subscribed, I would suggest subscribing. I'm a subscriber of his channel. He's got some really cool stuff. So anyway, and that's why I'm wearing the Aquarium Co-op shirt today, is because of Corey and Jimmy Neutron coming down. But anyway, I just kind of wanted to make a quick video and share with you something that happened. So a couple of days ago, I was doing a service job at one of my customers' tanks. It's a large cichlid tank. It's a 125 that I service. And he has a couple of Oscars in there. He has a Red Devil. There's a Jack Dempsey. There's some convict cichlids. So it's a kind of an aggressive tank. There's a big pleco in there. There's actually angelfish in there, which a little bit different, some gouramis. But when I came in, and I was last there 3 weeks ago, when I went in there on Wednesday at the end of the day, I noticed that there was something wrong with one of his fish, and I talked to him and said, "What's going on with your fish?" He said, "I don't know. I just recently noticed it, and there wasn't any issue with this fish before." And that was one of his Oscars. So his Oscar had a huge wound on his head. At first, I thought it was a hole in the head. But then I thought it's probably unlikely that hole in the head would progress so quickly when 3 weeks ago there wasn't any sign of any type of trauma or injury or anything like this, and now the wound was all the way down to the inner flesh. It was really, really bad. So I said, what are you planning to do with this? What are you going to do? And I said, we got to get this fish out of here. Something's wrong. Either he has some type of infection or a parasite, or he's getting beat up by some other fish. So my customer has another tank that we're going to build a saltwater tank in his other office, but it's currently empty because we haven't done anything with it yet. And I said, do you want to set up a quick quarantine tank? And we kind of looked at it, and we both collectively decided that it would be better if I took the fish home with me and cared for the fish, just because I'm the fish guy, right, as far as he's concerned, and I obviously have all my medications here. I have the ability to take care of the fish as far as my situation here with tanks and everything. So I took the fish and said, I can't promise you anything. I don't know what's going to happen. This looks really, really bad. The fish is not responding well. It's got a huge, huge wound. He's got some other wounds on the body. So I will do my best to try to rehabilitate this fish. It's very possible that the fish could die, so I can't promise you anything. And he said, whatever you got to do, Zenzo, I understand. If you need to put the fish down, or if he's not going to make it, I'd rather have the fish with you under your care than just sitting here in this tank and not getting that proper care. So I took the fish home after I did the job, and put him in the tank here behind me. And you might be able to see right here over my right shoulder. This is the Oscar. He's a big Oscar, still not full grown, but it's I want to say it's about 8 inches or so. He's about the size of my hand, like this. he or she, I don't know, I just say he, which could be a she. But the fish is, pretty large. I have medicated the fish. I have it obviously, in a tank by itself. I treated it with both General Cure, erythromycin, a little bit of salt, very clean water, nothing else. I didn't feed it for a couple of days. I wanted to see, not to see, but I just wanted to kind of let it be. And of course, with medications, sometimes it's difficult, and the fish are not going to eat, etc. So I did throw some fresh shrimp in the tank today. Like shrimp from the grocery store that I would cook for myself. So we'll see if the fish takes that or not. I threw a couple pieces in there. I haven't seen him take it yet, but it's probably because I'm down here and there's lights and things like that. So I'm hoping that in the next couple of hours the fish will eat. And if the fish doesn't eat, then I'll obviously remove the food that's uneaten and just continue to monitor over the next few days. So I'm going to go ahead and pause here. I'm going to show you the fish and show you kind of up close what's happening with the fish. And then this video that I'm showing you here in a second is actually footage that I took right when I came home a couple of days ago. So I am going to warn you, if you're squeamish, it's a pretty bad. It's the worst injury that I've seen on a fish in a captive tank. I mean, I've seen worse injuries like fish in the wild if a predator grabs it or something like that. But I've not seen anything like this. It's pretty gruesome. So if you're squeamish or anything like that, it's not like there's blood in the water or anything, but it's just it's a really big wound. It was really very sad for me to see. So I'm hoping that I'll be able to rehabilitate the fish. So I'll go ahead and pause here, and then I'll show you the clip. Hey guys, so as you can see, I have an Oscar in a 20-gallon tank. Obviously a 20-gallon tank is nowhere near large enough for an Oscar. Basically, I was cleaning a client's tank today, and I saw that this fish was badly damaged, and I thought initially it was hole in the head, but then upon further examination and looking at some other wounds on the fish, I'm not quite sure. So the customer didn't know what to do. It's a big 125, so we couldn't really medicate the tank. There's other fish in that tank as well. So I said I'd take it back to my fish room. I'll quarantine him and I will medicate him and hopefully be able to rehabilitate him. So I said no promises. It's a really bad wound. It might get worse and the fish could die. And he said he understands, and hopefully it doesn't happen that way, but if I can do my best to please try. So it's a really bad wound. I've actually never seen a wound this bad on a fish that's not from the wild. Obviously I've seen it in the wild if a shark or some barracuda attacks a fish, but then they're eating the whole thing. But I've never seen something like this before. It's really bad. When I serviced this tank 3 weeks ago, the fish was fine. There was no lesions or anything. And now you can see it's a huge wound that's going down to the flesh. Fish also has, it's kind of hard because there's no light on this tank. There's a wound on its side, kind of along its lateral line. I'm thinking that it might even have been the large common pleco that is in the tank. And obviously, plecos from time to time will latch onto a fish and scrape away their slime coat. And I don't know if something like that might have happened and then it got infected, but I don't know if it's some kind of parasitic thing going on, but it's really, really bad. So we will see. The fish is doing okay, considering that it's got a giant wound on its forehead and it's in a foreign tank, and it was captured and put in a bucket and brought across town, and it's not laying on its side or anything, so that's good. So I'm going to closely monitor this fish for a while and see what I can, let me see if I can get out of the light here. See if I can see any visible signs of it healing. You can see there's that wound on the side, but gosh, that wound on his head is so bad. It just pains me to see this guy like this. It really, really bothers me. I don't know what type of pain receptors fish have and where they're located, but I can't imagine that that feels good at all. So for now, I'm going to just focus on giving it really good water quality, frequent water changes. This is a 20-gallon tank. So we can get you better light. 20-gallon tank. The fish is it's not a full-grown Oscar, obviously. He's medium-sized, kind of a big juvenile or an adolescent. He's probably about, I'd guess maybe 8 inches long or so, maybe 7 inches. Pretty thick, about as wide as my hand. So, good size fish. Definitely too big for this tank long term. So I will definitely be up on the water changes. As you can see, this tank is very clean. I keep my tanks really clean. I've got a sponge filter in there, nothing else besides the heater, and just a little bit of fake plant for cover. So I will be providing some updates on this guy. Hopefully by the time I release the video, which will be in a couple of days from now, he will have made some type of improvement. But just one more shot. You can just see it's really not good. You can see on the side there, if I zoom in, you can see there's something going on there on the side of the body. So if you've seen this before, if you have any idea what this might be, and if you were able to cure it, please let me know in the comments below. If it is in fact hole in the head, I know that that's not a good prognosis. So we'll see. I'm currently treating him with general cure and with erythromycin. So we will see how he does with that. If I need to, I do have tetracycline, but I really don't want to use it because of the filtration, as that will kill off all my good bacteria. But I do have tetracycline if it's really bad, but we'll see how the general cure and erythromycin does. I'll probably up a little bit of the salt in here as well. And I'm not going to treat for ick or anything right now. I'm going to wait and just focus on the wound for now and see if he does better later on. Okay, so there you can see that what the fish looked like when I brought it home, and I have treated it with medication. I am monitoring it very closely, and I will be making sure that the water parameters and I'm very are good, and I'm changing the water on a regular basis to ensure that it has the best possible chance of rehabbing. So obviously it's in a 20-gallon tank. That's, you probably clicked on this video saying, why the heck is someone have an Oscar in a 20-gallon tank? Well, of course I'm not going to keep an Oscar in a 20-gallon tank. The Oscar needs a much larger tank than a 20, but that's what I'm using right now for quarantine, and it's big enough for him or her to swim around in, and not doing a whole lot of swimming, just kind of resting and hiding out behind that plastic plant in there. So if you do have any information on what you think it might be, or if you if you are into ichthyology, or if you're a veterinarian or something, and you have any ideas, please let me know. Either send me a message or put it in the comments below. My hypothesis is that it is some type of injury, just based on looking at the wound and how quickly it progressed versus the last time I saw the fish. I'm almost thinking that it was like, I don't know what fish in there got to him, but I'm almost wondering if it might have been the large pleco that might have been looking for some slime coat and latched onto him and scraped away for a little bit, and then it got infected, and then some other fish picked at it or something. So anyway, if you've had that happen, if you've seen a pleco do that, and the pleco is large, it's a larger pleco. He's probably, I don't know, I want to say 11 or 12 inches long now. So good size, and eventually probably too big for that tank. So I might have to catch that fish one time and move him eventually. So anyway, if you are a new subscriber, and again, thank you to Aquarium Co-op. If you're a new subscriber, if you're new to my channel and you aren't subscribed, but please do. And if you are a new subscriber, I really appreciate it. Thank you very much for your viewership. And if you just happen to be popping in and watching the video and you're not subscribed and you don't plan to, thanks anyway. I really appreciate it, and I hope that you come by and visit again. So as always, thanks for watching, and we'll catch you on the next one.